Impeach. Don't impeach.
That's what I said. That's
No obstruction. No collusion.
well, I'm not a crook.
We have been given a set of facts.
Russia, if you're listening.
Collected and analyzed. Detailed in a 400-page report
Smoking gun.
by the men and women of the United States Department of Justice.
We got him.
This is the case against the president.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society.
Part 7. The Great and Powerful Odds. There's nothing like a good magic trick. When I was a kid, my favorite was Harry Anderson's rope trick.
The old rope trick, the old rope trick. This is my kid's favorite trick. I got a girl who loves this trick, 5 years old. She's about so big. She loves this trick.
I hadn't thought of it in years, but for some reason, it recently popped into my mind. It still holds up surprisingly well. To the eyes of a child, just about anything can seem magical. At one point in time, I was amazed at how efficiently my father could remove my nose. Sleight of hand is easy to pull off when the audience doesn't know that there's some trickery going on, and that they should pay attention to what's being done instead of what's being said.
Okay. He will restore the rope. How will he do this? Well, he might, maybe he would do something topological. Do you know topology? You know, like M.C. Escher, you know, who said, maybe it's in the basement, I'll go upstairs and check. You know? Or maybe not, maybe not. Maybe he'll do something dark and druid-like. Maybe he'll dance naked under the full moon. Probably he won't.
I suppose that's the key to a successful performance. The ability of the artist to sell the bit. That, and the willingness of the audience to go along for the ride. Because a bad magician, well, a bad magician can be just as memorable.
52 card pickup. You know how you play that? Pick up the cards.
But even a bad magician can still win us over, if we let them. But they have to sell us on their act. And it better be damn good, too.
This is the only thing I never made, and I found this in a pet store, which they still make. You can go to the pet store tonight and buy this exact thing. Look at this thing. Look at this.
What is it?
I know, and all it says on the tag is keeps the dog in the yard.
What?
No diagram, no descriptions how this thing works. Just, yeah, this ought to hold her. There's someone right now like, I think I did it wrong. I'm like, yeah. You did it wrong.
The question becomes, would we want to see it again? What's behind the sleight of hand? And, once we know what's behind the magic of the show, would we still want to go back? Volume 1, page 72. Cohen recalled conversations with Trump in which the candidate suggested that his campaign would be a significant infomercial for Trump-branded properties.
Khashoggi is not a United States citizen. Is that right? Or is that right? He's a permanent resident. Okay. We don't like it.
Volume 1, page 73. Cohen was emphatic that all meetings in Russia involving him or candidate Trump would need to be in conjunction with the development and an official visit. The Russians recommended to Cohen that he separate any existing business track.
Trump immediately follows saying, quote, I would like you to do us a favor.
Volume 1, page number 16. The IRA's U.S. operations are a part of a larger set of interlocking operations known as Project Lakta.
He just said it's not Russia. I will say this, I don't see any reason why it would be.
Volume 1, page 130. The message was about a peace plan for Ukraine that Manafort acknowledged was a backdoor means for Russia to control eastern Ukraine.
There's never been a president who's been so transparent. This is a witch hunt.
Page 130 continued. All that is required to start the process is a very minor wink or slight push from Donald Trump.
Russia, if you're listening.
Volume 1, page 131. Manafort told Gates his role in the campaign would be good for business and potentially a way to be made whole for work he previously completed in Ukraine.
So to be clear, Mr. Trump has no financial relationships with any Russian oligarchs.
That's what he said. That's what I said. That's obviously what our position is.
Volume 1, page 137. Manafort replied that Kalemnik should tell Deripaska that if he needs private briefings, we can accommodate.
They've gone back 12 years to find things about somebody, and I don't think it's right.
Volume 1, page 158. The 2-page document listed 5 main points: jointly fighting terrorism, jointly engaging in anti-WMD efforts, developing economic initiatives, maintaining an honest dialogue, and ensuring proper communications and trust by key people from each country.
We submitted our American colleagues a note with a number of specific suggestions. And I'd like to point out specifically that our special services are cooperating quite successfully together.
Volume 1, page 161. Kushner asked Kislyak if they could communicate using secure facilities at the Russian embassy. Kislyak quickly rejected that idea.
There's just some talk in China that maybe the transparency isn't everything that it's going to be. Do you trust that we're going to know everything we need to know from China?
I do. I have a great relationship with President Xi.
Volume 1, page 184. The law states, no one may solicit, accept, or receive from foreign nationals a contribution or donation of money or other thing of value, or an express or implied promise to donate money or thing of value in connection with a federal, state, or local election.
Maybe you do both. I think you might want to listen. There's nothing wrong with listening.
Volume 2, page 4. The day after firing Comey, the president told Russian officials in the Oval Office that he had faced great pressure because of Russia, which had been taken off by Comey's firing.
We are not at war. Sailors do not need to die. If we do not act now, we are failing to properly take care of our most trusted asset, our sailors.
Page 4 continues. The president also twice called Comey directly, notwithstanding guidance from White House counsel Don McGahn, to avoid contacts with the DOJ.
There's no need for testing in areas of the country where there's only a small number of cases. That is the opposite of the truth. That's the whole thing. The whole thing about the virus. Every place starts with a small number of cases, then it grows. That's why you need testing.
Volume 2, page 5. On June 19, 2017, the president dictated a message for Lewandowski to deliver to AG Sessions. The message said, Sessions should publicly announce the investigation was very unfair to the president. Lewandowski said he understood what the president wanted Sessions to do.
It's such a basic, simple question, and you try and make it sound so bad.
Volume 2, page 6. Cohen provided false testimony to Congress in an effort to adhere to a party line that Cohen said was developed to minimize the president's connections to Russia.
The Democrats downplay, ignore, or outright deny the many indications that Ukrainians actually did meddle in the election.
Volume 2, page 7. The President's counsel raised statutory and constitutional defenses to a possible obstruction of justice analysis of the conduct we investigated. We concluded that none of those legal defenses provided a basis for declining to investigate the facts.
They missed the call. They could have called it months earlier. They would have known. And they should have known. And they probably did know. So we'll be looking into that very carefully.
Volume 2, page 26. On December 31, 2016, Kislyak called Flynn and told him that Flynn's request had been received at the highest levels, and Russia had chosen not to retaliate in response to the request.
We all want the nation to reopen. We need a national strategy to do that. But thanks to this president, that is completely absent once again.
Volume 2, page 52. On March 9, 2017, Comey briefed the Gang of 8 congressional leaders about the FBI's investigation of Russian interference, including an identification of the principal U.S. subjects of the investigation.
There are a lot of us who fully understand what happened in 2016, and it really better not happen again.
Page 52 continued. The week after Comey's briefing, the White House counsel's office was in contact with the chair of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, Senator Richard Burr, about the investigations, and appears to have received information about the status of the FBI investigation.
Burr said that some of the counterintelligence concerns that his team had unearthed there were going to keep the committee occupied for decades.
Page 52, footnote number 309. On March 16, 2017, White House counsel was briefed by Senator Burr on the existence of 4 or 5 targets. The SSCI does not formally investigate individuals as targets. The notes tracked the background materials prepared by the FBI for Comey's briefing to the Gang of 8 on March 9, 2017.
The top Republican on the Senate Intelligence Committee, Richard Burr, is under pressure from Democrats and even some Republicans after his decision to sell hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stocks just 1 week before the market started its historic slide amid the coronavirus crisis.
Volume 2, page 60. Some ODNI officials recalled that Coates told them immediately after the March 22 Oval Office meeting that the president asked Coates to intervene with Comey and stop the investigation.
It's a great time to just go out, go to a local restaurant.
Yeah.
Likely you can get in easily. What the Chinese did, back in, they probably had this in the late fall, especially early winter.
But we're not talking about cards here. We're talking about lives. What once was simply rhetorical musings of an aged leader now becomes our reality.
But in my mind, it was a tall, proud city built on rocks stronger than oceans, windswept, God-blessed, and teeming with people of all kinds living in harmony and peace. A city with free ports that hummed with commerce and creativity. And if there had to be city walls, the walls had doors, and the doors were open to anyone with the will and the heart to get here.
Will this nation continue to stand as a shining city on a hill, or will ours become the last, sharing with our grandchildren our stories of that time when man lived free? The choice is always ours. But be warned, once you know the magic behind the show, you may not want to buy a ticket for the second act.
This would be a pretty good trick if the knot weren't there. So we try something semantic.
When it gets a little warmer, it miraculously goes away. I hope that's true.
Not there.
I felt it was a pandemic long before it was called a pandemic. All you had to do is look at other countries.
Not there.
It's one person coming in from China, and we have it under control. It's going to be just fine.
Do not arouse the wrath of the great and powerful Oz. I said come back tomorrow.
You know you're a fake. You know that. Your whole network, the way you cover it, is fake.
Not bad.
You're a very bad man. Oh, no, my dear. I'm a very good man. I'm just a very bad wizard.
Stand up for the rule of law.
No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people, for I have complete confidence and the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed. I not only could not stifle controversy among your readers, I welcome it. This administration intends to be candid about its errors, for as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it.